You're watching Carlyle's Picks.
I've had this car for 2 months. I bought it from Roy Katz out in Seattle, Washington. This is a 1999 Diablo Roadster, VT Roadster. It's four-wheel drive. It's one of only 300 cars ever made. And of those 300, about 120 Roadsters were brought to the United States. So there's probably a little over 100 of them remaining as of today. The car was the successor to the Countach. It was brought out in 1991 with the Roadster version coming out in 1996 and lasted through 2001 with a total production of about 2,000 vehicles worldwide. Again, 300 of those being the open-top Roadster version. This car is a 1999, so it's the only year with a 530 horsepower motor. All the other Roadsters would have the lesser 492 horsepower, and as you can see in the front end, the 1999 has exposed headlights, making it the first Lamborghini supercar to not have any form of a pop-up headlight. So 1999 was the only year of the Roadster where you would get those lights. The maintenance on the car is rather intensive. This is not a car that you would typically consider, while it is reliable for its type, it's not a car you typically consider a daily driver. This is, again, a 1999, but only has 9,000 miles. Wow. So, and primarily, the reason for that primarily is people who own cars of this type normally have a fleet of cars at home. You never just have this as your sole vehicle. So they typically do not acquire over their lifetime. They do not acquire too many miles, but in relatively short time, major maintenance is required. That is certainly one of the catalysts behind people, keeping it parked in the garage for the most part. A basic service on this is probably about 10 times the price as it would be for a normal daily driver type vehicle. The clutch on this, just the clutch alone, is anywhere between $6,000 and $8,000, whereas on a normal car it might be $600. So that pretty much gives you an idea of why it only has 9,000 miles. It's, Lamborghinis are known for representing the greatest level of just overt, wretched excess in the automotive world. There is really nothing else that you can buy that makes a statement like this. That gives you as much of a visceral experience as this gives. And so, when buying this, you just have to keep in mind that it's going to be a very expensive car in terms of maintenance. A clutch in this car might cost $8,000. In a Toyota, it might be $600. But it truly is a car of passion. The Italians don't design their cars like anyone else. The Italians always put the romance and the passion of a vehicle before practicality of a vehicle. That's what it's about. It's about the visceral experience. It's about being on the road, the roar of the engine, the wind in your hair, well, at least in the case of a Roadster, and all of that music that creates. That's music to me. Some people, I'm a jazz fan and a jazz guitarist, but while some people might want to listen to Charlie Christian or Wes Montgomery, I actually prefer, although I love them, I actually prefer to get in this, let the engine scream, let the wind blow through my hair, and it just, what people don't understand typically is that this experience of driving a Lamborghini, it brings you somewhere outside of your normal daily life. It transports you. This car transports you. It's a very, very visceral and cerebral experience. It's like nothing else, and you have to remember also what makes these cars so special is they were at the time that they were built, and this is true of Ferrari back in the old days, they were built by men with a dream. They weren't built by men who were part of a huge corporation looking for, the next big thing that was going to, line their pockets with change. It is the greatest tribute to automotive passion and enthusiasm of any car make that I can imagine. Now, if you look at the body of the vehicle, if you look at the design of the vehicle, it actually is often described as the automotive version of a beautiful woman. But it's a beautiful woman in more ways than one, because while the body is gorgeous and captivating, the car is also quite temperamental, very much like beautiful women. And that's why most of us lose our wives and our girlfriends. My ex-girlfriend actually said to me when she saw this car, you know, I've only had it for a couple of months, and when she saw it for the first time, she said, "I can't believe you bought another Lamborghini." She said, "What, did your manhood get smaller?" You know, that's why this car is reminiscent of being in a relationship. It actually brought that comment out of her, but it actually will make its own statements all the time. It lets you know when it's angry. You know what I mean? This car gets upset. This car is an Italian woman with a fiery temper. Do not piss this woman off. Do not piss her off. Now, she's beautiful again, but she knows that she's beautiful. You see, here's the thing. Women who know that they're beautiful, you never really get the upper hand on them. They always have you by the, you know. Exactly. So when you ask me what made me get this car, after the Diablo was produced, thanks to, again, mostly thanks to government regulations, the way that the exotic cars started to be styled really left a lot to be desired for me. It left a lot to be desired for me. And in fact, if you look at what they make today, I feel that the grace in the designs is gone. There's no grace. I feel that what you have now are cars that are solely looking to challenge the laws of aerodynamics. And by doing that, you have cars that lose the design that was only based on passion and excitement and a raw visceral visual experience. Now it's, well, maybe this one will cut the wind a little better. That one will cut the wind. So the designs aren't there anymore. I think that Ferraris today in particular are very, they're no longer graceful. The word I would use is they're very techno looking. And techno is not beautiful to me. This is beautiful to me. Now, interestingly, this is beautiful to me, but not very aerodynamic. This has a lot of styling cues that while the average person may think, boy, that must be very aerodynamic, it's actually not. This experience of driving a Lamborghini, it brings you somewhere outside of your normal daily life.
You're watching Carlyle's Picks, and if you enjoyed this episode, definitely subscribe, thumbs up, comment below, and most importantly, share.